Well, hello everyone. It is Karen Ann Harlos, the Pink Parliamentarian, and I'm here again for your almost weekly trips and ticks. Did I say trips and ticks? Tricks and tips on Robert's Rules of Order. I am a registered parliamentarian with the National Association of Parliamentarians and am available for hire by your organization or group. You can check out my website at pinkparliamentarian.com. My rates are, I believe, very reasonable, and I am available for brief free consultations. But let's get to today's subject. It is the intrinsically irrelevant negative vote. That's a mouthful. Now, this topic is one that I do not necessarily agree with, but we're going to deal with the rules as they are, which sometimes are not as we wish them to be. So let me get out my notes, and we are going to deal with Robert's Rules of Order. It is the 12th edition, 435. So where does this come from, this idea of the intrinsically irrelevant negative vote? Well, first, it comes from the fact that abstentions aren't counted, because abstention literally means not to vote. But usually both the yeses and the nos are counted. But there is an exception, and that's where we're going to start reading. Again, this is from Roberts 435. The vote on a motion is normally taken by voice or live in la viva voce, unless under certain conditions it is taken by rising, or sometimes in committees or in small boards or other very small assemblies by a show of hands. In putting the question by any of these methods, the chair calls first for the affirmative vote, and all who wish to vote in favor of the motion so indicate in the manner specified. Then he calls for the negative vote. The chair must always call for the negative vote, no matter how nearly unanimous the affirmative vote may appear, except that this rule is commonly relaxed in the case of non-controversial motions of a complimentary or courtesy nature. But even in such a case, if any member objects, the chair must call for the negative vote. So far, so good. So far, I agree with it all. But here's the big but. A further exception arises when the negative vote is intrinsically irrelevant, as, for example, when, quote, a vote of 1/5 of the members present, end quote, is required, see 44.9 subsection A, the chair does not call for abstentions in taking a vote, since the number of members who respond to such a call is meaningless. To abstain means not to vote at all, and a member who makes no response if abstentions are called for abstains just as much as one who responds to that effect. So it's just that one weird sentence where it was stated that if there's a certain minimum, it's like a qualified majority, but it could be a qualified any sort of specified threshold, such as in this example, 1/5, where it is obvious that there is enough to carry or enough not to carry, that the negative vote is not taken. So let's go to that 44.9 subsection A, since that was referred to. It says voting requirements based on the number of members present, a majority of those present, 2/3 of those present, etc., while possible, are generally undesirable. And we quoted this in the last episode. Now we're getting to explain this portion. Since an abstention in such a case has the same effect as a negative vote, reason for that is a certain number of yes votes are required. And if you abstain, you take yourself out of the voting pool, but you are present, so you're still counted in the denominator. It's just like it has the same effect as a no. So, since an abstention in such cases has the same effect as a negative vote, these bases deny members the right to maintain a neutral position by abstaining. For the same reason, members present who fail to vote through indifference rather than through deliberate neutrality may affect the result negatively. When such a vote is required, however, the chair must count those present immediately after the affirmative vote is taken before any change can take place in attendance. The negative vote is not taken since it is intrinsically irrelevant to determining whether the motion is adopted. And I'll add here where it said that members who fail to vote through indifference rather than deliberate neutrality. I'll tell you, in the organization I'm involved in, people often abstain as a way to show disdain, that they're above this vote or a dislike of this vote, but that can have serious negative implications in the future. If you have a strong feeling against it, do not abstain. Vote no. I can give some examples of those in a future show, maybe a bonus episode. So why don't I agree with this idea? Well, one reason is because I favor votes on the record, and I favor voting members have the right to express their opinion, even if they're on the wrong side. They have the right to, and wrong side was wrong, the losing side, they have the right to express their opinion, in my view. And when you don't take the negative vote, there's no difference with those observing or monitoring the vote between an abstention and a no. And some people really are not neutral. They have a strong opinion. Now, note that this idea of the intrinsically irrelevant negative vote would be irrelevant itself in a smaller body that requires roll call votes, since it goes by name and the yeses and nos are interspersed. Now, General Roberts' seminal work, Parliamentarian Law, explains why I might have this basis, and this is due to the nature of the type of assembly that I am involved in. So let's read from Parliamentary Law. Voting by roll call is tedious and is useless, except where the voters are responsible to their constituents and the names of those voting on each side are published. All right. Okay, everyone, that is it. So you got it now, the intrinsically irrelevant negative vote. I do hope that you enjoyed this and that you learned something. I would really appreciate it if you would hit subscribe. And also, if you would consider my other channels, my political channel, which is from a libertarian point of view, which is Pink Flame of Liberty, and Jurassic Dictionary, where we examine old, dying, or unusual words, particularly if they have a really cool historical twist. Okay, everyone. Also remember that you can visit my site, pinkparliamentarian.com, where you can find information on retaining me for your group or organization. Until next time, I hope you have an awesome day or night or whatever it is in your wonderful part of the world. Thank you and bye-bye.